And now, WWE Network presents Super Showdown Kickoff.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Super Showdown is upon us as WWE returns to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for a spectacle of a show in Riyadh. The WWE Universe has showed up in full force to witness 5 titles being defended and many superstars eager to write the next chapters in their respective rivalries and also their careers. What's going on, everybody? Welcome on into the Super Showdown Kickoff. I'm your host, Charlie Caruso. Joining me today, he is the host of This Week in WWE in a 7-time Emmy Award winner, Mr. Scott Stanford.
Charlie, I just checked. We're up to 8 now. But listen, nonetheless,
okay.
I have been just waiting for this day for the last month. And by the way, we're going to address that elephant in the room, you and that hand kiss from Garza from Raw. You're not getting off so easy.
A lady does not kiss and tell, Scott. You're getting no details from me. All right, over here we have a former two-time tag team champion. He's a Harvard Law grad. His wingspan is ridiculous, people.
Wow, look at
Mr. David Otunga.
It's a shoulder-to-waist ratio. Well, thank you very much. All right, Scott, I believe you have my new slogan.
Dave, as a matter of fact, I do. I just wrote it 5 minutes ago. When the cuffs are on, you only get one call. Forget about calling Saul. It's 1-800-OTUNGA Law.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
You got that down, don't you?
Send you my bill in the mail.
Okay, well, hopefully there will be no legal conflicts on today's show, so we won't have to worry about that. But
you never know.
There is one thing that I do need to make very clear, and that is where you can find Super Showdown. That is on the WWE Network. It is the only place you're going to get all of the action. So everybody right now, you have one job. Head on over to WWENetwork.com and sign up because Super Showdown is free. Yes, absolutely free for new subscribers. And Scott, let's talk about what we're going to see today.
All right, Charlie, this past Monday night, Paul Heyman said Brock Lesnar owes Ricochet a beating. Today, WWE's resident superhero comes gunning for Lesnar's title. It's a championship battle that could throw a giant fork into the road to WrestleMania.
And WWE Hall of Famer Goldberg came to SmackDown to answer the question, who's next? And the answer, The Fiend Bray Wyatt. At Super Showdown, the Icon goes up against The Fiend for the Universal Championship.
Well, the Raw Tag Team Championship's up for grabs as Seth Rollins and Murphy face off against the Street Profits. The Monday Night Messiah and his disciple looking to clear the smoke and leave Riyadh with their tag team titles in tow.
And for the first time ever, a gauntlet match for the prestigious two-weight trophy. 6 men looking to run the gauntlet and take home the symbol of strength that is the two-weight trophy. That gauntlet match kicks off Super Showdown coming up at the top of the hour.
And in mere moments here on Super Showdown Kickoff, we're going to take you to Riyadh for tag team action as the Viking Raiders go up against the OC Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. That's straight ahead right here on Super Showdown Kickoff.
And Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza have redefined the term family feud. Garza's been getting the better of Carrillo on several occasions, but at Super Showdown, Carrillo looks to even the score.
Bayley will indeed make history when she becomes the first woman to put her title on the line in the Middle East as she goes up against Naomi for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
And the SmackDown Tag Team titles are also on the line as the New Day faces off against The Miz and John Morrison, but Big E and Kofi Kingston aren't giving up those titles without a fight.
Charlie, last year, a Crown Jewel hometown favorite, Mansoor, put on a show as he took care of Cesaro in singles action. Today at Super Showdown, Mansoor looks to do the same against the show-off, Dolph Ziggler.
Look, there is so much to be excited for in terms of Super Showdown, but I gotta remind everybody, if you don't act quick, you're gonna miss the action. There is only one place to watch Super Showdown. That is on the WWE Network. So right now, everybody go WWENetwork.com and sign up because Super Showdown is free. Absolutely free for new subscribers, and it doesn't even stop there because next month's pay-per-view, Elimination Chamber, the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania, also free for new subscribers. But we also have one more match that we need to get to tonight. The conflict between the Big Dog and WWE's Resident Monarch continues to grow more and more brutal as each day passes. And tonight, Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin will once again go to war, this time in a dangerous steel cage match where no one will be able to interfere and only one superstar will be able to emerge victorious.
2019 was a blessed year, but it ended a bit rough. I've been outnumbered, I've been jumped, and I've even been embarrassed by Corbin and his crew.
Corbin showering Reigns in dog food. King Corbin promised humiliation.
This time,
Oh, wait a second. Rude and Ziggler stomping away on Reigns.
I needed the help of my family.
It's the Usos. Oh, God!
My family helped me out in a major way, and I whooped Corbin's ass all over that baseball stadium.
They're over by the dugout here at Minute Maid Park. Spear! Cover!
2020 is my year. Save it. You know for a fact, without the help of your cousins, you couldn't have beaten me. So tonight, I demanded a 6-man tag match, and the 3 of you will pay for what you did.
We get set now for our main event. Reigns and the Usos against Corbin, Ziggler, and Rude. Loser eats dog food. Spine buster by Robert Roode. Dolph Ziggler. Deep 6. Kick out at 2. Roman Reigns survives. Corbin averts the spear. Roll up by Reigns. Shoulders are down. Let him eat dog food. The King's gonna eat dog food. It's 3-on-1. And the Usos shackling Corbin. King Corbin trying to fight his way away from the Usos. Spear! No, this is not necessary. Oh my God! Corbin covered in dog food. No! Another bucket of slop.
Last week was an abomination. Oh, that's funny being humiliated with dog food, isn't it? You enjoy that, don't you? Roman Reigns can't do anything without his little lap dogs. I demand one more match with Roman Reigns.
Superman punch by Reigns. And now Corbin gonna retreat, gonna run away.
If the coward wants to have one more match, he's got it. Tell your boys to stay home because we're gonna do it inside of a steel cage. You're gonna know who the man around here is.
This could be really catastrophic. For the final time, King Corbin, Roman Reigns inside a steel cage.
All right, so we have a steel cage match. How important is this stipulation, and who does it play more to?
I think this kind of favors Roman Reigns. And you know, what's interesting about this is Baron Corbin asked for this stipulation, and he said because Roman can't beat him without outside help, which is interesting because Corbin has only defeated Reigns with outside help.
Of course.
This is what we call in psychology, what we call projection, projecting your insecurities onto others. And so I think it was a mistake to ask for a steel cage match on Baron Corbin's part. I think Reigns is going to eat him up.
Dave, we've seen the dog food matches, the falls count anywhere at the Rumble. We've seen Corbin thrown into a porta-john, which that's even worse than dog food to me.
Yes.
You know, Corbin said that the SmackDown locker room lost all respect for Roman Reigns. Now, whether that's true or not, you know, that's just Corbin trying to get into his head. But you know that's got to play into Roman's mind. How much does that fuel a Roman Reigns to have that respect of the locker room?
I think it fuels him a lot. I mean, Roman is a guy who prides himself on being a locker room leader. I mean, they don't call him the guy for nothing, and everybody looks up to him. I think that is something that fuels him very much, and a win over Corbin tonight decisively could, you know, cement his respect back in his place as the locker room leader.
And that's my question that I wanted to get. This rivalry seems to be never ending. I mean, there's always something new coming up, new crazy things being added into this rivalry. Is this going to be it? I mean, if the winner tonight, does this define the winner of this rivalry? Do we move on from this?
You know, I think it depends because for both of these guys, this has become so personal, it's hard for either one of them to let it go. Like, I would say, I feel like Roman finally has the better of Corbin, but Corbin just can't let it go. So, I mean, who knows? As long as it's decisive, maybe we'll have an end to it.
5 seconds, Dave. Who needs it more? Give me a name.
Reigns.
Roman Reigns.
I would say the same thing.
Okay. It's going to be a great match.
It's going to be a great match.
No outside interferences.
Oh, well, you know, unless something, you never know what can happen in WWE, but I don't think so. But we have another big match going on tonight, that gauntlet match.
Charlie, I'm looking forward. There it is, the Tuig Trophy, which goes to the winner of the gauntlet match. Coming up this afternoon on Super Showdown, someone's leaving with the prestigious hardware in the first ever Tuig Trophy gauntlet match.
And now let's send things over to Riyadh, where Byron Saxton is standing by with one of the competitors in this gauntlet match.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of the competitors in the prestigious Tuig Trophy Gauntlet match, AJ Styles. AJ, how ready are you for a gauntlet match in which you may have to defeat up to 5 other superstars in order to win?
I don't care if I have to go through 1 superstar. I don't care if I have to go through 5 superstars. I don't care if I have to go through 100 superstars. I mean, don't get me wrong, these competitors in this gauntlet match, they're great. But there's only one that's phenomenal. Come on, Byron, you know how humble I am, right? Everybody's starting to call me Humble Styles all of a sudden, you know? Hey, listen, I don't care who I'd have to go through in any era. I'm talking about R-Truth. I'm talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm talking about Roman Reigns, Shawn Michaels, Aleister Black. Aleister Black. I'll deal with him next week on Monday Night Raw. But that's not my concern. My concern is the Gauntlet Trophy. I mean, I got to get this thing home. I got to get it to WrestleMania so I can celebrate with the best tag team in the world. I mean, we're going to toast it up, you know, because we're the official, the original, the only club that matters, the OC.
Humble Styles. Is anyone buying that nickname?
Does he realize how heavy that trophy is? He's going to need some people to help him out with that.
He's got some friends that could help him carry it.
You know, Dave, listen, that was a nice list of superstars he mentioned, but the only one on the list that's actually in the match is former 24/7 champ R-Truth. And listen, you know this comes down to the luck of the draw, right? Everybody's going at it one-on-one. It comes down to the luck of the draw. We don't know who comes out first or second yet. But if you had to go with one of the superstars who's in, who do you give the advantage to?
Wow, that's hard. And it's exactly what you said. I mean, this really comes down to what place. Because, I mean, you would think it would benefit you to come down later. I'm going to have to go with a guy like Rey Mysterio then. Just in case he came out early, he's proven time and time again he's a guy who can last through a long match like this, defeat a bunch of superstars. He would be the guy, I would say.
Do you foresee any superstars teaming up in this match to take out another competitor?
Well, I think it would be difficult for that to happen. So I'm going to say probably not. I think it's going to be everybody's out there trying to eliminate the guy in there with them and, you know, just last as long as they can. They want to be the last man at the end.
Yeah, and you know what I was always interested in? You know, I know it's a sexy pick to always go with the superstar who comes out last, but is there an advantage to being in the ring for a couple of different matches? You get on that roll, knock off a couple of other guys, and the guy who's coming in maybe comes in a little colder.
Yeah, no, I think there is an advantage that momentum plays such a big deal here in WWE and within a match. That's exactly it. You could have a guy who's in there, comes out in the middle and, you know, has a big elimination and another one. Next thing you know, he starts to heat up. He's on a roll. Whoever comes down last, you're right. He's cold and he's stepping in there with somebody who's on fire right now. It's going to be tough.
What will this win do for the competitor who wins? Will it elevate their career to a different level? What will it do?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely elevate them to a different level. This is the first ever time they're having the Tuig Trophy. I mean, this is going to be something that people are going to talk about for years to come. So this is definitely going to boost their confidence, boost their stock and position on the roster.
And by the way, whoever wins it, it costs more than 50 pounds, Charlie, so it's going to cost you more to get it on the plane. It's going to be an extra charge on that plane.
Make it well worth it, huh? Well, something else that everyone's going to be talking about is that WWE Championship match. So let's send things back to Riyadh, to Paul Heyman, his client Brock Lesnar taking on Ricochet tonight for that same title.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the advocate for the reigning, defending, undisputed WWE heavyweight champion of the world, Brock Lesnar. The same Brock Lesnar that will main event WrestleMania against Drew McIntyre unless the greatest upset in the history of World Wrestling Entertainment happens tonight at Super Showdown. And I know I know, please. Don't tell me, and don't dare interrupt me either. Don't tell me I know what you're thinking. Ricochet doesn't stand a chance. And bluntly, against Brock Lesnar, Ricochet does not stand a chance. But the 1980 United States hockey team didn't stand a chance against the Russians. Okay, they were all amateurs. It's the Olympics, which nobody gives a crap about, but still, it was an upset. The Undertaker can never lose at WrestleMania, but the first WrestleMania on the WWE Network, The Undertaker lost. And to whom did he lose? Brock Lesnar. Mike Tyson could not be knocked out. Who knocked out Mike Tyson? No, it wasn't Brock Lesnar, though he could have. It was James Buster Douglas. And everybody's hoping and they're thinking and they're fantasizing that tonight Ricochet will pull up the same upset against Brock Lesnar and go on to main event WrestleMania against Drew McIntyre. And ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to happen because Brock Lesnar doesn't play into your fantasies. Brock Lesnar is the reality. Brock Lesnar is the straight shot against a hopeless Ricochet. And if I were Ricochet, and I'm so thankful that I'm not, I would take that very personally as something direct from your humble advocate and the reigning, defending, undisputed WWE heavyweight champion of the world, Brock Lesnar.
Boy, I'll tell you what, guys, you know, all the prognosticators, all the analysts, I mean, nobody giving Ricochet a shot in this match. I know we're going to talk more about it later, but Dave, I mean, are we looking at a miracle today if he pulls this off?
I mean, look, everybody seems to be counting Ricochet out, and all of those upsets that Heyman mentioned, what was the one thing they all had in common? They all underestimated their opponent, and that is definitely what's going on here tonight. So you never know. Could be a miracle upset.
All right, lots more on that championship match coming up a little bit later on in the program.
Yeah, there is a lot to look forward to at Super Showdown, and now we go back to Riyadh to hear from The Miz and John Morrison ahead of their SmackDown Tag Team title match.
Tonight, Miz and Morrison, the most must-see blockbuster franchise duo of all time, is back together again, competing for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship.
I couldn't think of a better way to kick off the greatest comeback in WWE history than a win over the New Day. Hey, we could win an ESPY for this. Ooh. Or a Slammy. Hey. Who knows? Maybe even an MTV Movie Award for greatest comeback of the year.
Right. But it's not just a comeback. It's a rebirth, a reboot, a renaissance of tag team wrestling.
Because in life, there are winners and there are losers.
We are the greatest tag team of the 21st century. Be jealous.
Look,
I'm jealous.
This is good.
Yeah.
Now, do these two have what it takes to be champions together again?
Yeah, I think they definitely do. I mean, look at them. Yeah. They're in sync. They're in sync more than Justin Timberlake and JC.
Dave, you know why I'm jealous? They don't look like they've changed in 20 years. They look the same.
They really don't.
Yeah, what is their skincare routine?
Good jeans or good docs, I don't know. But I'll say this, these guys are former tag team champions. They have great chemistry, and what I like the most about this, Morrison has come back. He's reinvigorated The Miz. Yeah. This is The Miz of old. This is The Miz who won the WWE Championship. In my opinion, the best Miz there ever was, the best version of him. I'm excited to see where they go with this.
You know, Kofi and Big E have been in this spot many times before, right? Morrison's been impressive in his return, Dave. When you look at the two teams right now, who's got the momentum coming into today at Super Showdown?
You know, I'm actually going to go with The Miz and Morrison, and it's exactly what you said. I mean, the New Day, they are arguably the greatest tag team of the modern era.
Yeah.
I mean, that just is what it is. However, they're not hungry. They've gotten used to being the tag team champions all the time. Miz and Morrison are hungry.
Complacent,
Morrison is back.
if you will.
If I will, I will. Morrison is back, and he's hungry for the championship. I like the two of them together. Another thing is, one of the things that makes the New Day so effective is their chemistry. They're good friends. Yeah. They've been together for a long time. They know each other really well. But you got to remember, Miz and Morrison are best friends also. They've known each other for a long time. They, you know, just like the New Day. It's almost like they're a bizarro version, an alternate version of the New Day.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask about that. You know, you said the New Day know each other so well. Miz and Morrison know each other well, but we have seen some shifts in the Miz's demeanor since John Morrison has returned. Can you talk a little bit
spring
about
in
that?
his step, a little extra spring.
Exactly. He's got a spring in his step because he's got his best friend back.
Right.
There's nobody tougher than a dude who knows that his buddy's over there backing him up, hyping him up.
True.
So he can say
Got your
whatever
hype
there is.
man.
All of a sudden, he's super tough because, well, if you beat me up, my buddy's right here. So, of course, he's going to be more confident.
And his buddy's in pretty decent shape from what I could see. He's got abs like you, my friend.
Yeah, he keeps a nice set of abs on him.
Listen, last time out in singles competition, Morrison beat Big E. So when those guys come into the match, the New Day, does that play in their minds? Like when you lost the match and you got that guy again the next time, does the previous loss play in your head?
Are you talking about me?
You personally.
Oh.
Not that there were a lot of losses in your career.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. And a guy like Big E, and knowing him, I know that it kills him that he lost to Morrison. So when he comes in, he's probably going to be focused on just Morrison, which could be a bad thing. He wants to make sure that he keeps his focus right where it needs to be, and that's on just winning the match.
All right.
Well, this is definitely going to be a fun match to watch tonight. And the women also taking center stage today in a historic match. The first women's title defense in Saudi Arabia. And one woman who knows all about making history is Natalya. Last year, she faced Lacey Evans at Crown Jewel in the first ever women's match in Saudi Arabia. And today, she tweeted out this. I'm excited for Naomi and Bayley as they prepare for their match tonight in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. This is the first women's championship match in Saudi Arabia and another epic moment for women around the world. I am incredibly proud of you both. And now let's go to Byron Saxton, who is joined by the challenger, Naomi.
Please welcome my guest at this time, Naomi.
Hey, Sax.
How you doing?
Great.
Naomi, last week on SmackDown, you defeated Carmella for the chance to face Bayley tonight in the first ever women's title match in Saudi Arabia. What does making history on this night mean to you?
You know what? It's a real honor to be a part of this historic match here at Super Showdown. But what's going to be even more of an honor is when I snatch that title off of Bayley and become 3-time SmackDown Women's Champion. Because all this glow can defeat all that glare any place, anytime, anywhere.
Look, Naomi, she's feeling the glow. She's going through what I would call maybe like a glow up right now.
A glow
She
up,
has
I like
really
that.
been shining since her
Pretty good.
return.
Shining. Look at all these puns.
Royal
Not to
Rumble.
mention that rhyme, Scott. I know you had to appreciate that.
Listen, when you say glow up, I know you had one of your own with the Garza kiss on Raw, but we'll get to that a little
we're
later.
gonna come back to that,
For
are
now,
we?
we're talking about the historical ramifications. First women's championship match in Saudi Arabia, Dave. First SmackDown women's match in Saudi Arabia. I know Natty and Lacey, they did it, back in the fall. That was the first women's match. This is the first one for a title, so there's got to be a lot more pressure coming into this one.
Yeah, there has to be. I mean, this is a momentous occasion. This is a huge deal. And, I'm proud that Naomi is in this, and I think this might be her night to step up. Everybody kind of is giving this to Bayley. Yeah, she is arguably, the most dominant SmackDown women's champion. I'm sorry, but Naomi is also a 2-time SmackDown women's champion, and also one of the most athletically gifted people on the roster, male or female. I mean, she can do incredible stuff.
So I won't argue with that, the fact that Naomi is extremely athletic. But look, Bayley, you think now is the time when she's going to let down any of her guard? I mean, WrestleMania is less than 2 months away. There's no way she drops the title. I mean,
I'm not saying she's going to let down her guard, but what I'm saying is, look, Naomi's got the glow. That's what it is.
glow.
Show enough. She's going to make her kiss her Converse. Do you even know where these references are from?
How do you spell show enough?
The Last
I'm gonna
Dragon.
need a little glossary from you next.
She's got the glow, like
Yeah.
Bruce Leroy.
So what exactly does Naomi have to do then to defeat Bayley?
I think she just has to come in and she just has to stick to her game plan and kind of play off of Bayley's overconfidence and just surprise her.
And Bayley is very confident right now, more than ever.
And Mark Henry said on WWE Backstage, she's doing what she can to bring prominence back to the women's division. Now, I agree with Mark on doing what she can, but I didn't agree with him on the prominence. I don't know where the prominence left the women's division, but she certainly has the momentum right now. Could the pressure and the historical ramifications, Dave, cause someone to go off their game plan once they get into that ring?
Yeah, most definitely. Like I've been saying, I think Bayley is going to have a misstep tonight. I think she loses. I really do. It's a big night. She's overconfident.
I like that hot take.
It is hot. It's glowing. It's glowing hot.
Everybody's glowing. I'm not glowing. I don't have any glow. I need a glow. I want a glow.
You just need a tan, Scott. That's all you need. All right, well, another title on the line today is the Raw Tag Team Championship. So back to Riyadh we go, where the Street Profits are preparing to take on champs Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy.
Go. Here we go. Yeah. Here we go. 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 Because I already know why you're excited. I already know why you're excited. Because you woke up this morning, you realize it is now time. We are here at the WWE Super Showdown kickoff. We're on a business trip to stack them chips, my brother.
Uh-huh. And this Raw Tag Team title opportunity means the Street Profits. We on the come up. And that the Monday Night Pariah and Murph the Smurf ain't burning it down tonight.
Because we got championship feelings.
Tell them why, fam.
Because the profits are up and we want the smoke.
We want the smoke.
Well, talk about in sync. I mean, these guys, you couldn't be any more in sync than the Street Profits. They've been a tag team for years now.
Yeah.
So they're going up against the champions, Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins, but like I said, they're in sync. Does that make a big difference when going up against such a dominant tag team?
They're in sync, not boy band in sync, but yes, on the same page.
On the same page.
No, I do think that makes a difference because they've been partners for a long time and they have great chemistry. They know how each other works. I would say that gives them a slight advantage in that department when you look at Rollins and Murphy, but at the same time, you cannot discount who Seth Rollins is and what he's accomplished. Like him or not, I mean, he's a very accomplished guy and one of the founding members of the Shield, the architect. So I think he's done enough. He'll be able to figure out a way to win. So I kind of think that negates it and puts them on an even playing field.
And Dave, let me go antithesis of that. Nice word I just used there. You and John Cena, back in the day, you guys were kind of thrown together, and you won that title.
We
the tag
did.
team title, I think, for 24.
Don't worry about that.
Hours?
We won it. We won it.
So like you said, you know, Rollins and Murphy, you don't necessarily have to have that year, 2, 3 years cohesion together.
Exactly. As long as you guys know what you're doing, you have the same goal. I mean, for example, that match with John Cena where he was my partner, I had to do everything and won, and he shared in the glory with me. I had to share the title with him. Same thing. I mean, you know, if Rollins has to step up and do what he has to do and carry the team, then he will. Not to take anything away from Murphy. However, on Raw, Dawkins was getting the better of him.
Yeah.
And Rollins had to come in there and save things. So I think Murphy might be the weak link. This could be a strategy for the Street Profits to key in on Murphy.
Key in on Murphy. That could be the answer to success.
Yeah, and they did have that split, you know, 1-loss record on Raw. And listen, the thing about Murphy is, you know, Seth Rollins kind of took him in when Murphy was at his lowest point, sitting there on the side of the ring. You know, he had lost that match again to Aleister Black, and it was almost like Seth Rollins kind of said, and that's usually what happens when you get your disciples. You find them at their lowest point. Murphy was certainly down and out. He didn't even want to go to the back. And he was almost paralyzed with a depressed state right there.
Yeah.
Rollins took him in, and he certainly gave him, you know, a new life. And it, you know, it looks like Murphy he'll walk through fire for Seth Rollins.
He has him drinking the Seth Rollins Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
He just needs to get one of the Street Profits red cups. And there you go.
What's in the red cup, Dave? What's in the cup?
I don't know. Maybe it's Kool-Aid. Who knows? No, but Murphy definitely will follow anything you know, Rollins puts in front of him and do whatever he asks him to do. So I think in that respect, Rollins is going to be able to trust Murphy a lot. And that's something that's very important that you need in a tag team partner.
Listen, I love the Street Profits. You know, they're a very talented team. They have been together for a while. To me, you know, if I got to pick a winner, I see Rollins and Murphy coming out on top in this one. That's just my own opinion.
You know what?
Come on, Dave. Agree with me.
We need another hot take, Otunga. Let's go.
Come on, Dave.
A hot take or the right take? I agree with you. The Street Profits, I do see them as future tag team champions. I just don't know if it's tonight.
Not tonight.
Yet.
Okay.
All right. All right, well, we're going with the current champions. Well, Goldberg is back and ready for the rematch he never got after losing the Universal Championship to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Tonight, he gets the opportunity at the Gold, but He's not just up against Bray Wyatt. We all know he's up against much more, as he is up against The Fiend.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome WWE Hall of Famer, Goldberg! You're not going to find any man in any sport more intense than Goldberg.
The first undefeated man in the history of this sport to ever win the World Championship.
Goldberg has climbed to the top of the most elite mountain.
After 12 years, Goldberg returns to the ring. Goldberg's the Universal Champion.
Goldberg may be the cover story for greatest comeback in sports entertainment history.
Damn, it's good to be back.
I watched the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and it gave me that itch again. It got me thinking, what about the Universal Championship?
So, The Fiend, whoever and whatever you are, know this.
We interrupt this broadcast for an important message from Firefly Funhouse News.
Breaking news out of SmackDown is William Goldberg is reportedly thinking about challenging The Fiend for the Universal Championship. But that's bad news for Bill, because the word on the street is that he accepts.
Bray Wyatt, I know who you are, what you're all about. I ain't playing your stupid games. I ain't here to talk. I'm here to do one thing, and that's take your Universal Championship.
You are not taking anything from anyone.
Actually, you don't know me at all, Bill. Someone has just been dying to meet you.
Goldberg spares the Fiend! Goldberg has struck first. That has never happened to the Fiend.
The Fiend! Bray Wyatt! You're next!
Goldberg, he is a multi-time champion. He has taken on the best. He has defeated the best. But I have to ask you guys, does he know what he is getting himself into stepping into the ring with The Fiend, Bray Wyatt?
You know, Charlie, that's the thing. I mean, what we know about Goldberg, we already know. We don't know anything about The Fiend when it comes down to it, right? We know Goldberg with the 173-0 start. We know he knocked off Brock Lesnar in under 2 minutes when he came back. He knocked off Dolph Ziggler, right? We know what we know about Goldberg. What we don't know about The Fiend is what he's capable of right now, okay? We've seen some of the things that he could do. I don't think we've seen what he's capable of to the max, Dan.
I know every time we see The Fiend, there's something new that surprises me. I mean, you know, like you said, Goldberg is one of the most dominant superstars in history, period. The closest thing we had to a Mike Tyson in his prime. Dispatching everybody, you know, early on, just in a matter of a minute or so. But The Fiend is something totally different, because what impresses me is I've seen him take some incredible punishment and get back up. It's like his brain has some kind of ability to ignore the neurotransmitter sending pain signals. Go ahead.
But no, I was going to say, you talk about that pain. You saw it in the piece right there. He got the spear on Friday night. You thought he was down, but a minute later, the lights went out. He was gone.
That ends most guys. And The Fiend was right there.
He's not human.
No, he's back up, and then the lights went out, and he's gone. Exactly. The mind games. Something that's interesting is The Fiend operates off of fear and intimidation. But like even as we just saw, Goldberg wasn't intimidated. I don't think that man is intimidated by anything, which, you know, could be a good thing, but at the same time, it could be a bad thing, because you got to be careful, you know, what you're going into. Sometimes fear can help you. You need to be a little fearful.
You saw what The Fiend did with Seth Rollins. He turned the Miz's world upside down with Daniel Bryan. Everybody kind of, Charlie, had that fear in their eyes. But like you said, Dave, Goldberg, he was, oh, I know you're behind me, and now I'm going to spear you. That, like you said, takes guys down. He was gone. So let me ask you this. At the end of the day, is The Fiend still the champ?
Ooh. I don't see how you can beat The Fiend, I'll be honest. I don't know. But then again, Goldberg seems pretty dang unbeatable too. Mm-hmm. And he's not the typical guy who, like I said, who's intimidated by The Fiend. These are like two unstoppable forces meeting. But man, I have a hard time going against The Fiend. Yeah. I think The Fiend is going to retain.
It's going to be interesting, you know, because you got WrestleMania ramifications in this one. And, you know, I, too, think somehow The Fiend, Charlie, walks out of there with the title in tow.
You know, he may be successful. I just hope Goldberg doesn't come to regret stepping into the ring with The Fiend tonight. But now, guys, how exciting. Let's get set for our very first match of the night.
Yep.
Y'all ready for this? Let's head over to Saudi Arabia, where our team is standing by.
Hi again, everybody. It is a beautiful evening here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Temperatures in the mid-60s, much better than the other times we've been here. I'm Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and from Monday Night Raw, it is Byron Saxton. Late arriving crowd, but a huge crowd expected for Super Showdown, now about 24 minutes away.
The temperature a little cooler than usual, but things continue to heat up as the night progresses. A big night of action here at Super Showdown. I can't wait to see what goes down.
I'm actually tired of waiting. I want to see some action like now. We're going to kick things off here with our kickoff show match. Time to join the raid.
The following contest is a tag team match scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, at a combined weight of 590 pounds, Eric and Ivar, the Viking Raiders.
We are here live tonight at the Mohammed Abdu Arena at the Boulevard. As Corey mentioned, a beautiful evening, rather unique atmosphere here. And Byron, the Viking Raiders, former Raw Tag Team Champions, really with a score to settle here tonight.
Yeah, very deep history with the OC. And I'll tell you what, expect a very physically intensive matchup here tonight.
Viking Raiders, Corey, have found themselves in the battle against Seth Rollins and company as well over the past couple of months on Monday nights.
Tonight, Eric and Ivar mustn't dwell on the Monday Night Messiah or any of his cohorts. A tall task stands ahead of the Viking Raiders and the OC. And guys, you can't forget what went down the last time the OC competed in Saudi Arabia. We were looking at the best tag team in the world.
And who do they beat to earn that honor?
The Viking Raiders.
And their opponents, representing the OC, they are the best tag team in the world, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
It was right here at Crown Jewel in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia at the end of October last year where the OC won the tag team turmoil match to be named the best tag team in the entire world. And Byron Anderson and Gallows, along with their cohort AJ Styles, have not let us forget about that.
Absolutely not. In fact, prior to Super Showdown, they were actually very public about saying, this is where we plant our flag on top of the food chain on the road to WrestleMania.
Corey, let me ask you, is this an opportunity for Anderson and Gallows to help build a little bit of momentum and maybe help psych AJ Styles up for what awaits him later tonight at Super Showdown when he participates in the Twig Trophy Gauntlet match?
There's no doubt about it. AJ Styles is keeping a close eye on this matchup, on the competition that his good brothers will bring to the ring. Anderson and Gallows would love to kick off the evening with another big W.
Talking about keeping a close eye, Eric and Ivar have not taken their eyes off of Anderson and Gallows ever since they entered the ring.
All four of these men so familiar with one another. You know the action's going to be hard-hitting and intense from the opening bell.
And it'll be Eric starting things off for the Viking Raiders against Carl Anderson of the OC. Of course, the Viking Raiders, former NXT and Raw Tag Team Champions, also two-time IWGP Tag Team Champions. Anderson and Gallows really making their names in Japan, holding that title on a number of occasions.
Both the Viking Raiders and Anderson and Gallows have incredibly parallel careers as far as traveling the globe, really mastering their craft before arriving and applying in WWE rings.
And part of that is why the rivalry between these two teams has been so intense, because there is that international familiarity.
There's the power of Eric, 6 foot 240, taking down Carl Anderson.
Raw power. You're not going to get a lot of style points from the Viking Raiders, but everything they do is effective, and it all hurts.
And there is Ivar, 6'2", 350, and the double team by the Viking Raiders.
The Viking Raiders came to play tonight. No lack of focus.
I disagree, Byron. There's nothing about the Viking Raiders that says playing any given night. These two are always ready to fight.
And it's Ivar burying his shoulder into the midsection of Anderson. Tag made again, and here comes Eric. Talking about this matchup tonight, he said, quote, "The war never ends." And the Viking Raiders still focusing on the new tag team champions from Monday Night Raw, Seth Rollins and Murphy, who we'll see in action later on tonight against the Street Profits.
Remember, it was Rollins and Murphy that ended the Raw tag team title reign of the Viking Raiders, so I don't like this very much.
Oh, that's just nasty.
Late arriving crowd here at Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Just about 18 minutes to go before Super Showdown. Of course, 5 championships tonight, including the Universal Championship, the returning Hall of Famer Goldberg to take on the Fiend Bray Wyatt. The WWE Championship features Brock Lesnar against the underdog Ricochet. Bayley will make history tonight as well, defending the SmackDown Women's title for the first time in Saudi Arabia against Naomi.
Ooh, teamwork by Eric and Ivar. Ivar just too big for Anderson, but not for Eric. Splat.
Dumping the 350-pounder right on top of Anderson. Cover now. Cone was dealing with Gallows. That's the referee, and it allowed Anderson to kick out at 2. And now from behind off the distraction, Anderson takes advantage, and here comes big Luke Gallows, 6'7", 291.
Gallows can easily change the course of this matchup. Case in point.
Monstrous follow-away slam followed up by a running elbow from Big LG. Watch the big man throw these heavy hands.
Ow. Big body shots and then the uppercut. And just like that, the OC is taken over. 2-time Raw Tag Team Champions. Gallows and Anderson. Oh, big boot right to the face.
Wow.
Cover. Is it enough? And a kick out as we take another look at the action earlier on.
This is just absolutely jarring from Gallows.
Eric would be lucky if he'd end up with a dislocated jaw after that boot. Now Gallows just squeezing, putting all of his body weight into this rear chin lock, wearing Eric down. Sound strategy by the OC.
Yeah, slow the pace, keep Eric away from his corner.
I don't think there's not extra motivation for Gallows and Anderson to reaffirm their position as best tag team in the world with a victory here tonight.
Both of these tag teams definitely have their eyes on Rollins and Murphy, Raw tag team champions, but doesn't matter where you have your eyes, where the goal is if you can't get through the task at hand.
Another tag made. Here comes Carl Anderson. Anderson is a machine. And look how he uses his body to block the view of the official as he rakes the eyes of Eric. Wily, well-traveled veteran is Carl Anderson.
Eric trying to almost swing wildly to create some separation between himself and Carl Anderson.
Yeah, but notice how Anderson moved him back toward the middle of the ring and right back into his corner.
Textbook tag team work from Anderson and Gallows.
Never allow your opponent to get behind you. Keep him in front of you. Keep him into your corner. And allow the big man to come back in and continue to inflict the punishment.
Gallows, nice snap suplex.
Gallows so strong, so powerful. Elbow right to the chest. And Gallows this time going to deliver the leg drop.
300 pounds worth of Gallows coming out on Eric.
Hook of the leg now, and a kick out by Eric at 2, and near fall by the OC.
Gallows offering no quarter Right back to the submission hold. Notice how Gallows has both of his hands across the mouth and nose of Eric from the Viking Raiders. Makes it incredibly hard to breathe. This is an agonizing hold.
Well, this is the pace that the OC wants in this match. Big right hand, tag made again. Here comes Anderson. Frequent tags now by the former tag team champions.
Eric, to his credit, still desperately trying to do whatever he can to get out of this predicament.
And once again, Anderson, very cagey maneuver, tearing at the eyes of Eric and right into a rear chin lock once again.
Up the snapmare, Anderson continuing to wear Eric down. Eric is a survivor. You know his story, a motorcycle accident that almost cost him his life, and Eric again trying to stay in this match.
Eric chooses not to dwell in the past, however. He wants to move forward constantly, which is why the Viking Raiders were so disappointed when they were dethroned as Raw Tag Team Champions. Eric and Ivar both looking to carve out their own legacy in WWE.
Just imagine the frustration right now for Ivar. All he can do is watch. Wait a minute, maybe
No
more
longer
now.
tag made. Great tag by Anderson. And Ivar now in with a shoulder tackle and a side slam. And the big man Ivar, who moves like a cruiserweight.
Frightening agility from Ivar.
Big splash, and Ivar now delivering the chops to Gallows. Ivar set across the ring.
Whoa.
Lands on the apron. Tremendous balance and athletic ability.
Ivar's not done yet, going to the top.
Over 300 pounds.
Lands on his feet, gonna roll through here.
Good grief.
Oh, sit down.
Oh.
Cartwheel. Big old clothesline.
Ivar controlling the moment.
And he's got the WWE Universe in Riyadh out of their seats.
Full speed ahead.
And Anderson moves out of harm's way. And that could be a critical mistake there by Ivar if Anderson can somehow make it to the corner.
Anderson certainly avoided catastrophe in that particular moment. Can Anderson make the tag to Big Luke Gallows?
Tag made.
Eric and Gallows both legal.
And Gallows in the ring as well. Eric kick right to the hamstring, now a couple of knees, and Eric follows it up with a right hand. What a throw by Eric.
Terrifying power on display from Eric of the Viking Raiders. Tag is made to Ivar. See what the big man has in mind.
Uh-oh.
Look at Anderson
this.
driving Ivar into the corner.
Gallows tried to slip out of the way, but not quite.
Cover now. And Carl Anderson breaking things up. Eric delivering Ivar into the corner to Gallows, and Anderson allowing himself to save the matchup for his team.
Gallows in dangerous territory right now. All alone with both Viking Raiders.
May not be so dangerous after all.
Oh, Gallows, look at the sit-out powerbomb.
Gallows bought himself some valuable time. Hopefully Anderson can recover.
Anderson looking to make the tag. Gallows. Anderson's lead. And Carl Anderson caught. Oh, and what a knee. Right to the jaw. Tag made. Here comes Ivar.
Gallows with a thunderous clothesline that had nearly no effect.
But this will.
Oh, my God. Both Anderson and Gallows take it out.
This Ivar is something else.
Something to watch, isn't he?
Ivar is not done. Climbing to the top again.
Gallows, though, offering a distraction.
Oh, boy. This isn't going to be good.
It's not going to be pretty either.
What the?
Oh, this is not going to end well.
Ivar's going up to the top rope.
No.
Moonsault. Anderson moved out of the way. Ivar took too much time. Tag, here's Gallows. Eric blasted off the apron, and now the OD looking for the Magic Killer. Oh, and he connect the Magic Killer to Ivar. Here's the cover. Hook of the leg now by the OC, and the victory.
Here are your winners, the OCs, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Anderson.
The OC set the tone for the night, especially for their cohort AJ Styles, who heads into the prestigious Twig Trophy match, the gauntlet match later on tonight.
Gallows and Anderson marched into Riyadh and lived up to their billing as the best tag team in the world. It wasn't easy as we take another look at the agility possessed by Ivar, looking for a moonsault. Unfortunately, nobody home. This opens the door for the Good Brothers to slam it shut. Magic Killer, thanks for coming, Viking Raiders.
Once again, the Viking Raiders falling short to the best tag team in the world.
WWE has always been my home and will always be my home.
Hustle, loyalty, respect.
I never, ever forget where I came from.
Ruthless aggression. I won't be stopped. I can't be stopped. The champ is here! Everyone in this arena, everyone watching at home, whether they like me or they don't like me, know that this is my life, this is my passion, this is all I got!
This right here is my home.
Well, I'll tell you what, it is going to be an amazing Friday Night SmackDown. Dave, your former tag team partner is just killing it in life.
Former tag team partner, man.
And how about that win by Gallows and Anderson? I would say that was too sweet.
Yeah, well, how did
Took you a long time to come up with that.
All right, gentlemen, you know what else is too sweet is Super Showdown. We are just minutes away, mere minutes, from going live on the WWE Network. That is the only place, I repeat, the only place you will be able to watch Super Showdown. So everybody right now, head on over to WWENetwork.com and sign up because Super Showdown is free for new subscribers. And Scott, let's talk about what we can expect tonight.
All right, Charlie, WWE Hall of Famer Goldberg came to SmackDown to answer the question, who's next? Well, the answer is The Fiend Bray Wyatt. At Super Showdown, the Icon goes up against The Fiend for the Universal Championship.
And the Raw Tag Team Championships are up for grabs as Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy face off against the Street Profits. The Monday Night Messiah and his disciple are looking to clear the smoke and leave Riyadh with their tag team titles in tow.
And how about Bayley will indeed make history when she becomes the first woman to put her title on the line in the Middle East as she goes up against Naomi for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And the SmackDown Tag Team titles also on the line as the New Day face off against The Miz and John Morrison. But Big E and Kofi Kingston aren't giving up those titles without a fight.
And at Super Showdown, Ricochet will attempt to tame the beast when he battles Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. However, Brock is on a mission to get to WrestleMania, so Ricochet will not only need the heart, but the skills of a champion to take out the Beast Incarnate.
You know what? Why not me? Why can't I defeat Brock Lesnar at Super Showdown and become the new WWE champion? Look, I know what I'm up against.
The reigning, defending, undisputed WWE Heavyweight Champion of the world!
I know the sheer destruction and chaos that Brock has caused for the past 2 decades. Hell, I've even felt the wrath of the beast myself.
Oh my God! Brock Lesnar! F5! The WWE Champion stands defiant in the face of his Super Showdown opponent!
And yeah, I know what everyone is saying about my chances of winning. But I've been underestimated for my entire life. Told I was too small, but I wasn't. Told that I would never make it to the WWE, but I did. Told I would never become champion, but what happened?
Do you really believe that Brock Lesnar? Name one!
The one and only.
Hungry champion lunch meat.
Then the Beast is going to have to work harder than ever to catch this prey.
Exhilarating, exciting, innovative. There is nothing Ricochet cannot do. No!
I'm way more than just Lesnar's next challenger.
Oh, and Ricochet with payback to Lesnar. Lesnar eliminated. Chuck with the assist to Ricochet.
This is my one chance, my one shot to make history, to become WWE champion, to headline WrestleMania. So I ask you one last time, why not me?
You could never count out Ricochet. He does definitely have the heart of a champion, but this is Brock Lesnar we're talking about, and I hope that, you know, I'm not saying what everyone is thinking, but I don't think he stands a chance.
I mean, he's got the heart of a champion, that's for sure. But he definitely doesn't have brains like somebody who went to Harvard, because the last thing you want to do is to give Brock a low blow. Whether you felt that it was warranted and you were getting revenge or not, but that led to him being eliminated from the Royal Rumble. Ricochet's got to be careful in this match, or he might not come out of it in one piece, I'll be honest.
You know, in their first get-together, you know, Brock went with the low blow. Then Ricochet hit Brock with the low blow at the Royal Rumble, which led to that Claymore kick, you know, by Drew McIntyre, which of course went on to Drew winning the Royal Rumble. Listen, Dave, 40 years ago this past weekend, Paul Heyman alluded to it earlier in the show. The USA hockey team pulled off a miracle against the Russians 40 years ago. Is there a miracle happening in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia today?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I mean, this is Brock Lesnar, the Beast. We've seen what this man can do. Let's just say, for example, this could be a miracle. Listen to this. Let's just say Brock takes Ricochet to Suplex City. He could potentially suplex him all the way back to the United States. That would be a miracle. That's how far he's going to toss him around this ring and maybe right out of it.
All right, so look, whether, you know, Ricochet comes out victorious, you're not feeling so strongly about, but what does Ricochet have to do to even hang in there with Brock during this match?
He's going to have to use his speed and agility. Stay away from
Gotta stay
Brock.
away.
Do not get caught. If Brock gets his hands on him, we're going to find out why they call him Ricochet, because he's going to ricochet all over that ring and everywhere.
Yeah. And listen, you know, we don't call Ricochet, you know, he's got that superhuman ability, right? He's almost like a cartoon character superhero. Has Brock Lesnar ever faced a guy with this kind of ability in the ring?
I don't know about this kind of ability. I mean, that's one thing. I mean, Brock has looked great against people like AJ Styles or Seth Rollins, but Ricochet is a little bit different and is, you know, a unique athlete. And his athleticism could play into this, because there could be times when Brock expects to hit him with something and Ricochet lands on his feet. Could be different counters he's not used to.
Will endurance play a factor?
I think it will. I think it's going to have to, especially for Ricochet, because he's going to have to use his speed and just move the whole time. So he needs to be able to keep it up.
Yeah. Well, listen, if I was a gambling man, and I'm not, I'd have to go all chalk here, and I got to go with Lesnar.
I think I'm going with Brock Lesnar.
Do it.
Against it.
All right, well, Super Showdown, guys, it is going live on the WWE Network, live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Everybody, thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the show.
If Roman Reigns was as tough as he says he is, he would have fought me one-on-one, man-to-man. I demand one more match.
Superman punch!
The coward wants to have one more match. He's got it. Because we're going to do it inside of a steel cage.
These two longtime rivals had a mega score to settle.
As always, WWE Network is free for new subscribers.